we are planting more wheat. The title's not a lie, and unlike my hardcore videos, whenever I make a promise about wheat and peaceful, it's very easy for me to keep it. So, I welcome you to watch me do my favorite thing in Minecraft, play wheat. Play Wheat Simulator. I was putting a bunch of dirt down places, which is not exactly like wheat, but it's wheat adjacent. And is, it's an important part of the wheat process. Hi, Justine. I sort of thought of doing something interesting, and then I thought to myself, just plant some wheat. That's what you need after a long day at work. It wasn't really a long day at work, it was the same amount of time as it always takes. And I didn't have a bad time at all or anything, but, sometimes it's still nice to not have to worry about anything. So you hate your second tablet? Is the first one good? I sort of need some more dirt over here. I mean, the normal thing to do would be to just take the top off of some area with dirt, and then I would have more dirt. But I could go look for it in some chest or another. There certainly are some somewhere. But we can do that, after a bit, whenever we need to get more experience on the tools. Basically just mending on the hoe because we shouldn't be using too much of the pickaxe or the shovel anymore. Now that I've decided to just follow the terrain rather than trying to make my own. Oh yeah, it's already coming in so nicely. Before long, so much of this will be wheat, leading us to other places, yet to be wheat. Oh, it's so satisfying. This is really what the whole game is about to me. And these pumpkins are nice, but they're not wheat, and that makes them in the way. So we're going to cut them down and take all the land that they were using and make wheat out of it instead. A noble pursuit, the most noble of all. You know, Wonder if I'm too tired to even be streaming. But no. I just haven't thought of anything to talk about because all I'm doing is planting wheat. But I don't have any insights about wheat to relate. I finally did it. I ran out of things to say. I mean, not really. I don't really feel too much of a need to express myself. Whenever I have all of this wheat all around, like, I'm sort of expressing myself already. We unlock a new recipe, probably just from that one update. I don't even have any bundles in this world. You're looking at my channel? Yeah, I played, like maybe 100, 150, don't let me lie to you, about from the first one, and then several hundred hours of Total War Warhammer 2, and then I think probably like 180 or 190 hours of Total War Warhammer 3. Yeah, I love real-time strategy games. I'm not very good at them. But I follow competitive Warhammer play. There's a guy called Turin who does commentary, and I watch him all the time. I really like his casting. Your name. Yeah, yes, more wheat again. Why is that surprising to you? Yeah, and before Total Warhammer, I played this game called Mountain Blade. It was like the first thing that I ever did to my channel, really. I've played like 1,000 hours of Total War Warhammer total throughout the 3 games. I've only uploaded like a very small amount of the Warhammer I've ever played. Cause I'm like so bad. I'm not embarrassed of how bad I am, but I don't know why anybody would ever watch me play Warhammer. I just, I felt like recording it. It was a long time ago. I think it was before my hand surgeries. But no, I play Warhammer 40k on the tabletop. Not like actively, but I do like have a bunch of models. I'm terrible at painting. But yeah, no, I love Warhammer stuff. Warhammer Fantasy is super cool. Really like over the top funny stories. And I think in the Total War vein, it's the most interesting game to watch. Because, you got big dragons and ogres and that kind of thing, and magic and all of that sort of stuff going on. So Warhammer 40k, the models that I have, they're like sort of futuristic, guns in space and, laser beams and that kind of stuff. Whereas, like a person that's a dinosaur riding into battle on the back of another dinosaur, that's very cool to me in a way that a tank isn't. Not that a tank isn't very cool, but fantasy is cooler than sci-fi, I think, for strategy games. It just depends. But Total War, of course, the bulk of this series is more of a historical thing, and there's not really sci-fi options yet to choose from, but yeah, you know, maybe one day I'll play a different game again. It's hard to say. I was actually playing some Total War, Warhammer yesterday. I was thinking, I'm like, maybe I'll play a multiplayer match because I watch Total War Warhammer almost every day of my life, and have for years now. Like I really like watching competitive Total War. And Turin, who I name dropped earlier, he doesn't know who I am or anything. You know, I'm just a fan, but I watch him like all the time. But I've never played a single match of multiplayer, like never played a single match of multiplayer Total War, even though I've watched like hundreds and hundreds, thousands of hours probably of competitive Total War. What's Warband from 10 years ago? Mountain Blade Warband, actually, it's interesting that you would ask. On the splash screen in Minecraft where it tells you to play different games, that's one of the games it tells you to play. It's a sort of fusion strategy and like active combat game where you build an army and then you like try to take over castles and towns and stuff. That specific one that I have, that's what I did like hundreds and hundreds of videos of whenever I started 10 years ago. There was a mod called A Clash of Kings. If you guys have heard of Game of Thrones, it was a TV show that we all used to like and then we all got really mad at. But it was a mod that changed the game of Warband to being set with all the characters inside the Game of Thrones universe. And I was super into Game of Thrones and the TV show, and I liked the books a lot. And then I played that mod for, I put like 1,800 hours into Warband. It's one of my most played games. But yeah, that's how my YouTube channel started, is me playing Warband. And I guess you're now looking back into the past and seeing it. But it was a really cool game, yeah. So like, it would be like on a big map, and you would walk around, and then you would get into fights. And then in the fights, you have your own person, like you ride on a horse or whatever, and you know, you have a lance or whatnot. But then you also can tell your own other people in your army where to go in the battle. But I really liked it. I had a blast. I mean, I used to play it all the time. But like I said, yeah, almost 2,000 hours into Warband. I think like 1,891 hours, something like that. So a whole bunch. But the first, like, I don't know, 500 or so videos on the channel would have just been Warband. And they all would have been like a long time ago. Like, yeah, like 10 years back. Why is this surprising to you? Do I seem like a person who's only ever played Minecraft? Y'all know I've only been playing Minecraft for 5 months. I've lived a long, full, rich gaming life before I ever discovered Minecraft and planting wheat. I don't remember if you could plant wheat specifically in Harvest Moon for the Super Nintendo, which I did not own, but I did play on emulators. Harvest Moon is what I consider to be like the precursor to Stardew Valley, although I haven't played Stardew Valley, and I don't know what I'm talking about because I haven't played it. But whenever people talk about Stardew Valley, I think this is a descendant, at least in some way, of Harvest Moon. It may have happened first for all I know, but I think it's more of like a continuation of the brilliance of the world of Harvest Moon from what I can hear of my friends that play it. Oh, 2,000 hours as player. Oh, you don't even want to know how many I have in World of Warcraft. I mean, 2,000, that's a lot of hours, sure. But really, if you just play 8 hours a day for 300 days in a row, then you're going to have 2,400 hours. I did like 600 hours in Dead by Daylight in like half of a year. That's only like 4 hours a day. But yeah, no, whenever I was first doing my channel, I was living in New York, and I had this weird job on the internet doing weird jobs. It's called Amazon Mechanical Turk, and it was basically doing these weird, like, micro jobs. So you could do, like, picture analysis or psychological surveys. There was all sorts of stuff. The money wasn't very good at all, but it let me, like, have plenty of time to play video games while I was trying to see when the jobs were worth doing on the thing. I could just sit around at home and play video games the rest of the time. How many I have in Warcraft? I don't actually know. What I do know, so for the first year that vanilla World of Warcraft existed, the first 365-day, 24-hour-day year, I had 200 hours, or 200 days, sorry, 200 days. So like 4,800 hours played in that year. I spent more than half of all of the time that there was available to me playing WoW. And that was just that year. So I probably upwards of 10,000 hours total. I haven't played WoW the whole time, but I clocked like almost 5,000 hours that year. And then there was a couple of other times that I played WoW like very extensively again. So I would say, yeah, probably around 10 or 11,000 hours in World of Warcraft. That's why when people are like, I don't see how you have so much time to play Minecraft, I think, I don't even play Minecraft that much, man. When World of Warcraft Classic got re-released, I would wake up earlier in the morning. I was managing this oil changing place, and it opened at 8, so I would have to get there, a little earlier to open it up and stuff. And I would wake up at like 4 a.m. so that I could farm for a couple of hours and still be like good to go for work, because after I got off of work, more people would be playing, so it would be harder to do the things I wanted to do. I really like picking flowers in World of Warcraft. But if a lot of people are around, then they will pick the flowers too. And as you might imagine, that would annoy me. So I would just wake up super early in the morning so I could get the video game flowers before anybody else. But no, I can't actually check because I've had like 4 different accounts over the years. Also, Blizzard, the company of it, you can't actually just look. You have to go in the game and like type a command, and then it won't tell you how much time you've ever played. It'll only tell you how much time that one single character has played, and then you would personally have to go and add all of it up. There's no place for me to go on like my Blizzard account for them to say you've played 6,000 hours of World of Warcraft since 2019 or whatever. They literally won't tell me. I would have to go in and cobble it all together on my own. It's not like Steam. They don't want you to know. But there's 24 hours in a day. So if you work full time, that's 8 hours. And then if you play World of Warcraft full time, that's 8 more hours. And then you have 8 hours for sleeping, eating, and doing all of the other human things you have to do. And that's basically how I operate whenever I play WoW. But even that will only get you, right around 3,000 hours or so. You're really gonna have to, jump in on all of your days off and cut into your sleep time to get to get peak degenerate WoW playing. But it's a terrible game, and I wouldn't recommend it to anyone. I don't think it's very good. It's not like Warband where I would recommend it to anyone. But incidentally, they're re-releasing the game as it first existed back in the day, the only version I care about. And that's coming out in like a week, so for all I know, I might quit playing Minecraft and do that again. It's hard to say. But yeah, in Warband, I made like a terrible tutorial for how to mod the game, and it has like 60,000 views or something, and I'm so embarrassed that it existed at all, because I just did like a little bit of submodding on it. You did it in like a text file. You just went in and figured out what meant what in Notepad and like hacked away at it, and somebody on a forum, or one of my viewers at the time, they were like, you should do a tutorial on how to do this. And I was like, okay, yeah, sure. And then that was the funny thing. Whenever I came back to my YouTube channel after all this time, I'm like, oh, I guess like 1,000 people a month watch it. It's not that many anymore. But I don't know how anybody would have ever learned anything from it. But if they did, I'm glad. But yeah, like, I know 2,000 hours sounds like a lot of hours, but this is the thing that they don't tell you when you're young, is that when you grow up, you can play as much video games as you want. Now, you may not be able to do a bunch of other things in life that are important to you or others, but if you organize your life so that all you do is play video games, you can play a whole lot of them. Maybe I should play Total War Warhammer again. I could do a series, and I would call it, I have never won a game of Total War Warhammer. What did you miss? Oh, I was just talking more about, you know, things. I would consider none of it important enough to go back over and realize what I've said. And, I mean, you also missed me planting a lot of wheat. But anytime you step away, that's gonna happen. But you could be, you know... You could be calm and restful knowing that that is what's happening while you're away. It's a peaceful world with peaceful wheat. I forgot we had to deal with all that stone down there from our earlier mishaps. Oh well. It'll be fine. It'll be fine. We'll just, you know, we've got dirt somewhere. I don't have any worlds that don't have a bunch of dirt somewhere. Do I like jumping spiders? I don't find them, like, particularly pleasant, I guess. If I know a spider's a jumping spider, then it wouldn't alarm me too much. But otherwise, I would consider it like a more frightening form of spider. I'm not afraid of spiders, but they are capable of alarming me. You know, if they make sudden movements. Or if they, like, ask you to sign a petition when you're just minding your own business walking down the road. Do you like jumping spiders? So many golems. You know, I really should do something about that place. I didn't know it was there, first of all. But now that I do, can I just take off the top layer of dirt? Delicately. In a way that doesn't create any more work for me in the future. Yes, apparently, yes. Exciting! A result I did not expect. Magnificent. But now we need more seeds, and also dirt, and to run happily through the field of wheat. That is our just reward for hard work. It's so nice. Nothing but wheat. Wheat today, wheat forever. Infinite wheat. It's not really what infinity means. Arbitrarily large wheat. I need shulker boxes here. That's so annoying. I guess tomorrow I can try and find a fortress. Because if I had... Yeah, this is better. No need to wear the armor when we're having our farming. This is how I used to play the game. For the longest time, I didn't have any armor on at all. Because, I mean, I just played on peaceful. I didn't even carry a sword. There was no need, you know. It's never called for. Now the rain falls. The rain is the single best thing if you're doing a non-irrigated field like me. And if you are, why? But because you'll get irrigation through the rain. It doesn't hit every single thing, but it hits a fair amount of them. And then it'll let them grow faster, giving you nice pretty wheat to look at while you're waiting for the rest of it to get with the program. But it won't be like far away, like something even just like 50 blocks away never gets irrigated. You have to be quite close for the rain irrigation to happen. At least in my experience, that is the case. Of course, irrigation has its benefits beyond just growing faster, because it maintains the farmland, right? Even if there's no crops in it. But that's not terribly important to us, since this is a field, not a farm. One grows a field. You have to harvest a farm. What have I done? I got big old bulky shoulders is what I've done. I wonder if any more villagers got stuck. I mean, probably, but maybe not in the exact same places that they were stuck earlier. Oh no, I've fallen down. A terrible tragedy. You asked if I've ever thought of changing my Minecraft skin? Not really. Somebody suggested one time that I might, and I was like, I mean, maybe. They were like, I'll make you one, if you try it. I'm like, I might, but you know, I like this one. When I first booted up the game, I looked at the ones they had here, and I'm like, this one's gonna be me. And it still is. I didn't know that we would become such great wheat farmers, but you know, you can't tell everything. Go down here into this little underwater cave and plant some wheat by the shores of it. Thoroughly confusing anyone who comes here later. They're like, alright, finally, there's going to be something normal down here, and then it's more wheat. Wheat in the dark, wheat in the light. Wheat forever. Said this was the first skin you ever been playing Minecraft too? Cool. Yeah, no, I didn't even... If memory serves, I didn't even boot into a game before I selected this one. I don't think I've played any Minecraft at all besides with this skin. I would have to go back and look at the very first Minecraft video I did to see, which I'm sure is super funny. I know in one of them I like hit a block of obsidian with a stick until it broke, and then I didn't get anything at the end. And I mean, I was there for it takes a long time to break obsidian with like a random item. And I was so sure I was going to get something cool for it. Making such good progress. It's gonna be great. This is also like a much easier terrain. That wheat mountain, there's a lot of verticality there, and it's a huge headache to plant wheat on vertical slopes like that. There's just a lot of nonsense that goes into it, a lot of clumsiness, a lot of false starts, because this here is like the area, you know, of that whole thing at the top, but you could plant it in a fraction of the time. Of course, Wheat Mountain is more imposing from far away, but it won't be the only Wheat Mountain after all. There's another one way in the distance. We can't actually even see it here, it's so far away, but that's where we're going. That's where the wheat field's going eventually. If I don't quit the game, that's where we're gonna end up. No, even if I play some other game, I think I would still come back and plant wheat in Minecraft every now and then. Wheatland. We called it Wheat Park earlier in an earlier video. I like to say it in like the Jurassic Park voice. Welcome to Wheat Park. But Wheatland is very good too. Because the name of this Minecraft world is Pax Minecrafta, which means the Minecraft piece. Yeah. We could have also gone with Wheatopia. Like Zootopia, but for wheat. It's just the best place in the world, but only for wheat. If you're not wheat, then you may not like it as much. You might be thinking, is this really the right way to plant wheat? Well, to that I could only say there's no wrong way to do it as long as you're planting it. Also, you should definitely always have your water buckets inside your inventory and not on your hotbar, because that could be a way to do it wrong. But if you're getting wheat seeds down, then it doesn't matter if you're doing it in a sort of haphazard fashion. Because when you step away, which you'll have to do to get more seeds or to mend your tools or whatever, you'll immediately be able to see, hey, something's not right. That's not the color of wheat or of growing wheat. That's just grass. And then you'll be totally aghast. It's a good ad, because you can do it in the different styles, You've got, like, excitable, like, World War II propaganda role guy. Welcome to Wheatopia, where the world's largest wheat farm ever to exist. We got wheat food, wheat toys, wheat people, and more. Come visit a Wheatopia now. That kind of thing. And, I think that's the angle I would go with on it, like the sort of, 1930s, baseball radio announcer thing. I don't have a good one of those accents, which I'm sure I didn't need to tell you since you just heard me try it. But, sort of in that lane. When the going gets tough, the tough go wheat. Something like that. Well, I am glad that it was almost funny enough to make you laugh. You ask if I ever forgot how to spell my name? No, I don't think so. But if I have, I would have forgotten it. I will say it's not unthinkable that I may have forgotten at some point in life, or maybe several points in life, how to do literally anything, include tie my shoelaces, or, like, which end of a point can write onto paper. But I don't remember not knowing how to spell my name. Hello, Aviation Apocalypse. Today we're planting wheat. I'm afraid we're getting to the end. Not of, like, the wheat that I'm going to plant, but just of the stream. My name is not difficult to spell. I would occasionally pretend to not know how to spell my middle name properly because I hated it and I knew it annoyed my mother if I would spell it kind of wrong sometimes. She knew that I was just messing around because I could spell my name whenever I was like 3 or whatever, right? So she knew I was just playing. But yeah, I would say like as long as I can remember, I've known how to spell my name. Well, not that long. I've got earlier memories than before I could spell, but I don't recall not being able to do it. Oh man, this is gonna be so good. I mean, all of that wheat is great, don't get me wrong. It's all great, and this wheat's pretty great too. But all of this, oh, this is the wheat of today. So let's just go ahead and float up into the air real quick. So we planted, I mean, just that little chunk? I think, yeah, just like that little chunk, really. Because all of this was earlier. Yeah, not too much. A little bit of progress. A nice little bit. Now I need to find a boat so that we can go home and mend. Oh no, where have I left the boat? Ogren. I consider it an average amount of wheat. Do I have any wood? I thought I had a boat over here somewhere, at least, yeah, okay. You know, in this amount of time, I could have run over to my house. Well, I mean, maybe to you it seems like a lot, but to me, I've had this mountain of wheat for quite some time. I will say this is a lot of golems. But, you ask, since almost Thanksgiving, what do I think I'll do? I believe I'll be spending it with family. I will be doing what I always do on holidays, avoiding all responsibilities altogether, and quietly excusing myself from the house whenever my nieces and nephews get too loud and hurt my ears and make my skin feel hot and make me feel like screaming. No, they're pleasant enough. I don't yell at children or anything. I have a problem whenever small children are very excited and they like shriek with happiness. I don't know if anybody really loves that sound, but it gets to me. So whenever that happens, I tend to go and walk around outside in family gatherings, which is what I'll be doing for a portion of Thanksgiving. But they're nice kids. They don't shriek all the time. But, you know, it's hard for a 3-year-old to sit still at a table. I get it. I was 3 before. I wouldn't have wanted to sit still either. But, yeah. Hi, Grin. Yeah, we did build Wheatland. Just doing wheat things. Oh no, I am... You know, I'm always having trouble getting out of the boat. It has something to do with where I'm getting out of it yet, but... Now we will go to average amount of cowland. I think my favorite thing about the wheat streams is how I must appear to be increasingly unhinged to anyone who witnesses it. But I mean, by my standards, this is a normal amount of cows. I frequently have more. Is that going to be enough? How many cows do we have right now? 1,100? Yeah, that's okay. It'll get a little crowded. We shouldn't get cram yet, though. And I think, you know, the best part about the cows is that you get to see all of the potential in their eyes, you know, like one of these cows is going to grow up to be Cow Einstein. One of these cows is going to grow up, you know, to be Cow Gucci. They're going to have really, really nice boots made out of them or something. And then 110 of these cows are going to become the experience going into this diamond hoe, the most important hoe in all the land, because that's where all the wheat derives from. And, you know, actually, I may not need to do that. I think we got enough of the breeding on this time. Yeah, we're just going to do a couple hundred of them, and then that should get the hoe mint up. We're good. But yeah, there you go. This is how I plant wheat. I pick it up sometimes whenever I run out of seeds, and then I run over to this field and feed it to cows. See that right there? That was what 32, so 270, so just like 135 breeds, and then we had 44 left over, so just like 120 or something. Yeah, but now we have like 12 or 1300 cows, which is the number I usually go for. It's like, I know I have a dirt chest. This is too much dirt, but we'll just take it with us anyway. Should bring some wood along with us. I don't have any in the wood chest anymore, which means I probably don't have any anywhere. We'll bring one single chest with us. That way, we'll be able to put our dirt into it. I'm sure I have other dirt chests around. But as we close in on the end of my day, you know, it's a good day here in Wheat Park, in Wheatland, in Wheatopia, where an average amount of your wheat-related dreams come true. I am playing on a PC. A beefy one. That is how I can get 1,200 cows. But here we are at the farmhouse again. And, well, it's my bedtime now. I've got to work in the morning, so thanks for watching, thanks for listening. Hope you've enjoyed. If you haven't watched before, I stream planting wheat sometimes, and very often hardcore. And if you want to check those out, you know, love to see you there. But that's going to be it for me today. We'll zoom up in the air real quick. So if you aren't familiar with the scope of Wheat Park, you can see a little bit of what we're doing with here. So this is Wheat Park. And, you know, all of it lovingly hand-planted. And right about here is where I decided I'll go in the other direction. And then, so, like, you know, this was Wheat Park, the original. And this field here with the cherry tree in the middle, just like that bit there between the town and the rivers, that was the original wheat field. And then right over here is just the progress that we've done. This little wheat field here, this tiny little pathetic, tiny, pathetic wheat field there. Not the root vegetables on that side, but the wheat field right here that's not irrigated. That's all been done in the last, like, day or two. But, you know, we gotta be doing better. It seemed there could be more. There could be more. You know, we've used 149,000 wheat seeds, right? But that's basically none. It's basically none. And with 149,000 more, how far can we reach? These are questions. But I'll leave you with those questions because it is time for me to go to bed. But thanks for watching. Thanks for listening. I really hope you've enjoyed this little tour of Wheat Park and the wheat and wheat-related activities that we've done today. And now we'll fall down, hopefully into water, splash, and that'll do it. So I'll see you guys later.